I'm here with Humberto Cardenas, also known as Tito, also known as Coach. Is that right, Tito?
I know, it confused me as well, but it's I don't know why, but
You've been in athletics in the past, but you have nothing to do with athletics here at Laredo College. Okay.
No, back in the day, a long time ago. So
okay.
I played basketball. But
nice.
That was it.
So they say you look like a coach. Is that what it is?
I remember we would do I would do part-time advising.
Okay.
And I guess some students never knew my name, and then I want to talk to the coach. I was like, it was me. So that's where it came from. So
you actually do kind of look like a coach. I don't know what it is, but you actually teach English at Laredo College. So tell me about that. How long have you been here at the college?
I've been here at the college this is my 20th year.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it. 20th year. I think the South Campus has been open for 21, or 22, but I've been here for 20 years. I do teach at both campuses.
Okay.
In the summer, I teach at the downtown campus, but wherever needed, I go to both campuses. I'm also the dual enrollment liaison, which I oversee the dual enrollment instructors.
Okay.
Make sure that they're following our curriculum, and I'm also the assessment coordinator, which means that I deal with a lot of the institutional effectiveness, i.e. for SACS accreditation, make sure that our department's assessing, I'm on top of it, writing the reports year by year, year in, year out. And this year, since we're on the 5th year report, I was selected as IE lead to kind of oversee and look over the 36 programs and just make sure that, spot check and here and there, just for this year alone. That we're on top of things.
So English instructor is just one of the one of your hats.
Yeah, one of my hats. Yeah. So it's an interesting journey.
Yeah.
As far as what I've the amount of work I get, but at the same time, I'm very happy.
Yeah. How did you get started with teaching? And is it something you always wanted to do?
No. Actually, when I was a student here at LC, one of the teachers, she said, she helped me a lot with my writing. Mm-hmm. I struggled a lot.
Okay.
I was one of those students where I needed help for everything. So during that time, I would get together with her in her office. She would help me how to write. I went to the tutoring center. When I graduated my first associates here at LC, at that time it was Laredo College.
Junior college?
No, Laredo Community College.
Okay.
I went to TAMU, and then the counselor said, well, you have a bunch of English courses. Once you go into English, and lo and behold, I graduated. It was one of those things where I had to separate myself from my friends because they're on a different path.
Okay.
And I need to kind of focus, and then get my degree. And then lo and behold, I never thought I'd go back to my old high school and teach, and they hired me as an English teacher.
Where was that?
United High School.
Okay.
So they wanted me to coach. I said, no, it's okay. I'll just stick with teaching. Taught there for 4 years. Then I ended up getting a scholarship to Texas University in Corpus Christi.
Okay.
And then went up there and taught the university there for 1 year as a TA. Then came back, and then my brother told me, hey, they go to South Campus, LC's growing, apply, because I was going to stay up there. And I applied, and I ended up getting a job 2 weeks before the semester started. And from there, and then I ended up getting my second master's in more curriculum instruction and assessment and technology from TAMU. So that deals with more of the assessment stuff.
Yeah. So do you feel like you just kind of fell into the English teaching profession, or at any point did you really feel like, this is something I really want to do?
No, it's something that I wanted to do because a lot of our students here, they're great students. They struggle with writing. I can identify with them. So I struggled too. Sure. I always tell them the difference between me and you. Obviously, have more life, experience life a lot more, and also I've been in school a lot longer, but that's the only difference. So once I tell them that, they kind of ease back. Okay, I could talk to him and he can help me out. Yeah. Versus this whole thing, well, I'm educating, you're not educated, and so forth, because we're here as a community college, and I started here, and I know where they're coming from. So I was one of those students where I struggled too, so I can identify with them.
And there was an instructor or a teacher in your life that actually helped you, so you figured
to help me out, and and she moved on, got her PhD, but there were those times where she kind of encouraged me not to stop, and with writing, it's never perfect, so you're always learning as you go. And right now, in this day and age with technology, AI, you're still learning.
Absolutely.
Go from there.
You're not the first teacher at LC that has said that one of the teachers here at Laredo College helped them, think about their next careers. Well, that's amazing.
Exactly. I always thought, for some reason, I was always good at establishing relationships.
Yeah.
Because at the end, you need recommendations. And I went to grad school and I established more relationships there. So I always had that, but I always struggled as a student because I always got help. I was never afraid. I always went to the tutoring center, or at that time the writing center, still called the writing center, and I always got help no matter what.
And that's something I was going to ask you. You had no problem asking for the help, right?
I was never embarrassed. I always asked for help. To me, I think that's how you learn from your mistakes, and from those mistakes, I could identify them with my students, and I could help them because that's how I overcame it. And learning how to encounter different obstacles and how to overcome those obstacles, especially with academia, because again, people could fall through the cracks and never give up and give up. It's like, I was one of those students where I just wanted to quit and just go into the workforce, but I kept on going. At the end, that piece of paper, solidified it, and nobody's gonna ask you what your GPA was. It's basically, you got it, let's go.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no.
But we'll go from there.
And do you see students asking for help today? Do you see them coming to you, or do you have to really?
Well, when I started here, again, I've been here like 20 years. In the beginning, they would always ask for help, but now I can see they're a little bit more shy. It's always dealing with the phones, and that's just the way society is. But I have to get it out of them. But once I kind of like help them, they can see, what, this guy's trying to help me.
Yeah.
I do a lot of auditing, showing them in the classroom. I don't depend too much on technology because it could be overwhelming. That's just my opinion. But to them, I tell them, look, I'm not going to write on the board because my handwriting's horrible. So I'll just use the computer and I'll go back and forth, and make sure, check, you guys understand. Please let me know. If not, we'll talk to you after class and more one-to-one. Because more the one-to-one setting, I'll get more students. But as a general class, they'll tell me, hey, everything's okay, and it's not really. So when I last 15 minutes, I'll have a batch stay back, and I'll help them one-on-one. And that's when I get the most out of them.
Yeah. Do you feel that they don't look for the help because they're so used to getting all their answers on the phone? Or are they becoming less personal because of the phone?
I don't know. I just think it has a lot to do with social interaction, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A lot of them are very shy. I always tell them, if you guys are coming back after so many years, I tell them congratulations for coming back.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of effort to come back. And don't worry about it. I've been there before. To break the ice, because I have a lot of those students where, sir, it's been a while, this is overwhelming. I go, look, we're gonna take baby steps. Step one, we're gonna do this. Don't start here, let's start here, and then before we're gonna get right here. Because I could see in their faces that they're kind of like shy, and then they're kind of overwhelming. I don't know what I'm doing back at school. I'm with a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds, and they're already like 30. But I said, hey, we're all in the same boat. Don't worry about it. You came back. That's the starting step. You walk into the classroom, that's success for you.
Yeah,
You
that's what
understand?
matters.
That's what matters. So don't give up.
Yeah.
I just tell them, and I'm always there for them.
Do you? And that's awesome that you can really connect with them and associate with what they're going through. Is your class a required course for all students to take?
For the majority of it, your Comp 1, yes, Comp 2, most of them are pursuing bachelor degrees. I also teach tech writing. That's usually for the engineering students or the students trying to get into the bachelor's program here, the organizational leadership. They need that class, and I do teach online. So I've been teaching online going on 20 years already, so I see how that's kind of changed. I added more videos, but it's a wear and tear on my eyes. But no, I take my time with that. That's a little bit more patience because I gotta get, the difference is like my notes, I use the same notes, but here I have to be more exact with it because again, they're not seeing me.
Right.
And it has to be not just complete this assignment. I have to put videos, make sure they're learning the concept and so forth, and going.
Because if they have any questions, you're not in front of them.
And over here on campus, where they can ask me all the questions, and we go from here. Teaching them and so forth.
You taught at the high school level for a few years. What's the difference between teaching high school and the college?
With the high school, back in the past, I taught from 99 to 2003. Okay. So during that time, of course, they have a curriculum. It's rigorous in the sense that you have to follow step by step. You have a different array of students. Those students, basically they don't want to be there, but they have to be there and go from there. But either way, I mean, in high school when I taught, put it this way, I always taught the regular English courses. I never got advanced placement training for AP. And the summers, everybody's trying to get summer school for extra pay. Well, I always got left out, because I was a newbie there, but I would teach, because I was always open to Step Academy.
Okay.
In the summers, for some programs, I always took it, it was longer, I didn't care, because, a student's a student, and I would work with them. And back when Step Academy was not a new place, but I can't remember what area it was, but they changed it. But I remember when working there, and I would work for 3-stage summers, and I always took it, and I remember it was like the whole day. So it didn't matter to me. I mean, teaching was teaching, but it kind of taught me a lot, because where students come, they all come from different backgrounds, and then how they struggle and so forth. And sometimes they're worried about, well, what am I going to eat next, and so forth. So again, with these college students, they want to be here, but at the same time, they're still shy. Yeah. And I would tell them, I was there before because I was that student. I didn't know what I was going to major in. And it's always scary, especially nowadays. What am I going to do in my next life and so forth? You understand? Yeah. As soon as I graduate.
And some of them still have those struggles. They may be working more than one job.
Oh, yeah. Nowadays, my students tell me, sir, coming late to your class because I have to find a sitter. I didn't have transportation issues. Okay, don't worry about it. I'll work with you. Come tomorrow or go meet at a different time. Go to my class, which is a tutoring. So you can make up your hours if you want to come, and I'll teach you everything that you missed.
But it's definitely a difference in the high school student versus the college, because, like you said, in high school they don't have a choice.
No, I don't.
The college level, you're here because you want to do something for their education.
But some, it's a lot different. But here they want to be here in the high school. Obviously they don't. But you still have those students where you kind of change their minds about, there's a purpose here. You have a purpose in life and stuff like that.
If you had to assess the 20 years that you've been at it or more, 20 plus, how would you say you feel about that career to this point?
No, I made the right decision. Yeah. It's always what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to get my master's. I struggled to get my master's and I got it. So 2 years when I was up there, I told myself I'm just going to be here for 2 years, no matter what it's going to take. And I did it, and then, whatever happens after, happens after. And then if I've not got this job, then I'll go back to the high schools. Yeah. They would hire me. But, luckily, things fell, and it worked out for me. It was like a story. And this is where I've always wanted to be.
Well, lucky for LC.
Yeah.
I should
say. Thank you. But
Tito, you're from Laredo?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'm born and raised.
Nice. You went to Nixon? You said you played some basketball?
I went to United High School. I played. My dad played ball at Nixon.
Played for Nixon. Okay.
My brother played for Alexander, and I played for United.
And you mentioned an interesting note about your dad. He actually played basketball for, which would have been Laredo Junior College.
Laredo Junior College of Palominos. Wow. They had a basketball program. It was the first basketball program that you got a scholarship. I'm trying to, and I have time. I would like to go to the library and look at the archives. And his picture's still there because I still have a lot of his albums. Back when he used to play and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then he got a scholarship to St. Edward's, but he turned it down and he wanted to go work. And he worked for, at that time, Intex, the gas company.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we were born, grew up with basketball.
You're a Laredo family that grew up with basketball?
Yeah, my brother and I, and that's all we played.
That's why they call you coach.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it was just stuck like that.
What do you do when you're not busy with LC?
My outlets, simple things, go walking, walk my dogs, lift weights, just little things, because I stress out a lot because of my amount of work I have. Sure. But if I don't have my outlets, if I do them, such as, exercising, little walking here and there, it helps me out. Yeah. And especially being with my dogs, I have 4 dogs, so I take them walking, and it just stress, it's a stress reliever for me.
You work out at home or you go to a gym?
Both, at home, at a gym, I have a punching bag, go around here and there. It's basically it. I enjoy it, but,
You don't strike me as the let me stick around inside and watch TV kind of guy.
Nah, I have to go outside and do something.
Yeah.
Go cut the grass. Back in the day, my dad and I, we had a landscaping business, so we got people's lawns. And I grew up like that, and I mean, we cut lawns for a long time. So that's the way my dad raised me.
Hard worker.
Pretty much, you told me like, if you see the grass big, make sure you cut it. Don't expect me to tell you. That's just the way it was.
Yeah.
So that's the way my brother and I were raised. And again, my brother my brother, he's a associate principal at a high school. So he took more of the academic as far as the administrative stuff. But no, I don't want to go into administration. That's not for me. I'd rather be in the classroom.
But you're not just in the classroom. You're
Well,
doing
I
a lot
know,
more
but
than
I
that.
mean, it's really hardcore
Yeah,
now
I know.
already. So,
I don't know
so-
what you. Last question. If a student sees your schedule and they see Humberto Cardenas as a teacher, what do you want them to know?
Humble, willing to help you, not intimidating, easygoing, and great to talk to. That's it.
Tito, thank you very much for your time, and thanks for all you do for Laredo College.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.